Good afternoon. All right, we'll try it again. It's a special called meeting, so we don't get to normally do it like this. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thank you all. Paul, can you hear us? You good? Man,
Like falling asleep. Uh-oh.
probably not. There you go.
The others can hear us, but Paul cannot. So
All right, we'll apologize for the little late start. Working on some technical difficulties, so we'll continue to try working on that with bringing everybody on board. I'm going to go ahead and call this special called meeting to order. I'll pass the baton on to Leslie.
okay, so this is an in-person meeting with remote access available through Zoom webinar. The meeting is being recorded and an audio or video recording may be posted online. If, well, obviously he won't hear this, but if he's having problems, put a note in the chat box. Attendees are muted upon entering the webinar, but attendees should be able to see and hear the panelists, cannot communicate verbally unless the host allows them to. There are two opportunities on the agenda for public comments. Attendees have the ability to put comments in the chat box and also can raise their hand. So joining us remotely today is Paul Montgomery, who's our chairman, which could not be here. He did give his proxy vote to Michael Thompson. We also currently have Jennifer Marshall and Pamela Sharp with TDOT online. I do expect a few more attendees. We have a room full today, apparently for these tip amendments. Y'all, I know it has nothing to do with Bill's last meeting, but if y'all have any well wishes for Bill, we'll do those at the end. And since we have remote attendees, we will conduct a roll call vote for attendance and each vote. So for attendance, Vice Chair Jimmy Adkins,
Present.
Blake Ayler,
Present.
Chase Milner,
Present.
Rhonda Sawyer, Michael Thompson,
Present.
and Amber Torbett. Okay, Vice Chair.
Thank you, Leslie. Moving on to agenda item number 2, public comment on agenda items and agenda items only. Those wishing to make a comment pertaining to any part of the agenda items may do so at this time with a 5-minute limitation. Comments not pertaining to a specific agenda item will be heard at the end of the meeting. Do we have any comments on the agenda? Seeing none, I will move on. We don't need to close that, do we? Move on to the next item, the approval of the minutes from the May 12th, 2022 board meeting. Assume everyone's had a chance to review the minutes. Does anybody have any questions, comments, concerns, edits?
Make a motion to approve those minutes.
Second.
I have a motion by Chase and a second by Michael. And Leslie, would you please do a roll call vote, please?
Vice Chair Jimmy Adkins,
Aye.
Blake Ayler.
Aye.
Chase Milner.
Aye.
Rhonda Sawyer. Amber Torbett. Michael Thompson.
All right, thank you. Moving on to agenda item number 4, tip amendment number 9. Leslie, you have the floor.
So Virginia has asked us to add funds to fiscal year 22 for the Virginia grouping for maintenance, preventive maintenance for bridges, and also add funds to fiscal year 22 for the Virginia grouping for maintenance, traffic, and safety operations. These are in our current tip. In the agenda package, you did see the old page and the updated page with the changes highlighted for both those groupings. And also, as part of tip amendments, we do have to certify that we are following all of the planning regulations and rules. So there are 2 pages to sign off on the process, planning process certification and the tip amendment. So this is tip amendment number 9, and that's adding funds to the 2 VDOT groupings for fiscal year 22. Blake, do you have anything to add?
No, I'll say the same statement we had earlier this morning at the Bristol MTPO meeting. These allocations that you see are just based off of recent changes made with the IIJA bill that we had passed. And this is typical this time of year, especially as we're getting toward the end of the fiscal year. We're starting to look at the funds that we have within VDOT, and allocations are being dispersed appropriately. So the bridge program, the safety program that you see changing is just a normal thing that we're doing. apologize, it wasn't here a couple of weeks ago when we had our meeting, but we know how these things come up. So I'd be more than happy to take any questions anyone has.
Motion to approve.
Have a motion by Michael,
Second.
second by Rhonda.
Vice Chair Jimmy Atkins,
Aye.
Blake Ayler,
Aye.
Chase Milner.
Aye.
Rhonda Sawyer,
Aye.
Amber Corbett,
Aye.
Michael Thompson.
All right, efficiency, love it. Moving on to the next agenda item, number 5, the tip amendment number 10. Leslie.
Okay, so the Main Street project has been in the tip for, oh gosh, since 2015. As you know, we've been moving through that process. We've had some modifications and amendments over the past few years. The city opened bids April 28th. I think Michael's going to do a small presentation about this. The board talked about this at the last meeting, and they will be addressing it next week as well, the board of mayor and alderman. So you want me to stop sharing? Are you
No,
ready?
you're good. Stay where you're at and let's pick it up from there. All righty. I'm just going to present from here if that's all right. As y'all are probably aware, like Leslie said, this project's been in the tip and we've been developing it. 2 bids were received. Low bid was 17,610,480,000. The other bid was 1.4% higher. Of course, this is in our downtown core here, just 3 blocks south of us here. And just to remind you, this is a rebuilding of a section of roadway that has failed from starting at the old Cats building there at Clay Street through the downtown core for approximately 4 blocks. The project itself extends from Clay Street to Sullivan Street and includes a refreshing of the downtown core. Overall, the character of the downtown core will stay the same, but it will get, all new surfaces, sidewalks. We're going from brick pavers to brick look concrete pavers, replacing the street lights, street furniture, making small improvements along the way. Like we evaluated all of where the parking and the landscape islands were. And like here on the screen, you see where Shelby Street, that's an example of where we're putting in the crosswalks decoratively and putting, moving the crosswalk itself over the side streets out to where it's the safest for the pedestrians, and really trying to do that placemaking all the way down through there. Once you get to Cherokee Street, as you move east, the nature and character of the street currently changes. There's a transition, and then it's a very wide street, more industrial based warehouse district. And the other intent of this project is to bring the nature and character of the downtown core to this eastern end to make it one cohesive project. And we have interesting things to deal with, like the railroad Y that we have to deal with there at TNT. But so just a few visuals there. Once you get down to Sullivan Street, where the new transit center is, we've got a pretty major redesign of that intersection, both aesthetically and functionally, because Main Street, when it comes into Sullivan Street, will have a dedicated lane to where those people can just peel off into the outside lane on Sullivan Street. And we're also adding the between Cats and the island, landscape island that you see there, is a short section of roadway that allows those people that want to make a left-hand turn from Main Street to Sullivan Street, or a right-hand turn from Sullivan to Main Street, can do that in a safe 90-degree fashion instead of having to look way back over their shoulders there. So that's kind of the overall character of the project. As we move to construction phasing, the phasing of the project's really probably one of the most important questions that the business owners and residents have asked us. We're planning on starting on the eastern end towards Sullivan Street and going half of the street at a time until we get to the Cherokee area where we don't have the same amount of width to work with. And then it's going to be one block at a time closures. That first segment's going to take about 6 months, we feel. And then, you know, block by block, you're going to be like 2 to 3 months per block. And the overall project is slated for 2 years. We're working hard on a communication plan to make sure that anybody that wants to be informed of what's going on this project is. We have a public community meeting scheduled for the 28th of this month in this room. And, you know, we're going to be setting up a dedicated Facebook page as well as having updates on our website for the MPO and things like that, because the number one thing we want to do is not kill the businesses that we're trying to help. So that's going to be a key component. Now it comes down to the money. The numbers here represent both the contractor's bid, the CEI services, and the reimbursable utility costs. And so there's a slight difference from the request on the tip page because we want to allow for some contingency. But we did not on the city side and all those other accounts. We are allowed to do a 6% contingency, and we always try to take advantage of that where we can. We are not asking for that on the MPO side. We just simply rounded up to the 3.1 million basically. But those numbers break down into the MPO, obviously, which is the funds that y'all oversee and allocate. And then the regular general fund of the city is that next line item, and then the various utilities on those others. So overall, that's what we've done, and we've done that by making minor adjustments to other projects and then moving some of those out just a little so that the money is just available right when we think today that we're going to be to that phase, where in the past we've been a little bit more conservative and have the money programmed, you know, a year ahead. So that's our timeline. We've already had the first BMA meeting where the BMA passed the first budget ordinance. Today we're asking for the tip amendment for the MPO funding, the second reading of the money, and the actual award of bid is planned to go to the BMA next week. And then we're going to you know, immediately get that contract signed and hope to start, you know, towards the end of next month with that time frame. One other thing I wanted to, I hadn't had a chance to update this, but we did this week receive TDOT concurrence on the bids, which is something that we've been working through for several weeks. That was one of the many steps that needed to be done. Chris, is there anything you would like to add to that? So with that, I'll open it up to any questions or comments anybody has.
I might make a comment. If you do the numbers, normally it's a 20% match, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're well over, or the city's well over matching that, right? But probably double.
Well, it's a little weird. Technically, when you do the math, this is a typical 20% match. However, the utilities have stepped up and went ahead and are doing the water and the sewer complete rebuild which is a non-reimbursable. It's a what they call a betterment. So it's not eligible for that being the utility. So that's what makes it looks that way.
And actually, if you look at just the MPO money and the city money, the city's match is a little less than 20% because those CRISA funds are 100% federal.
Yep.
It didn't require a local match.
Yeah.
If you want to stop sharing, I have the tip page up on the.
That was not what I should have done. You, yeah.
And this is the, in the packet, you had the old tip page and the new tip page, which is updated. The CRISA funds have already been obligated for construction. This is, we had converted STBG funds to AC, Advanced Construction Funds, to get the project bid. And with the intention, because TDOT didn't have obligation authority at the time we needed to put the bid out. So we've converted them to Advanced Construction Funds so we could get the bid out and then basically immediately convert them back to our STBG funds. So that's converting the AC funds to AC or local STBG, and then also adding the additional funding. So this would be, approving this TIP amendment for adding the funding to the construction phase for fiscal year 22 for Main Street, as well as certifying we are following all the planning processes and certifications, the regulations that we have to.
Any questions, comments, concerns about the project or the amendment?
I'll second that motion.
Is
I have
that
a
Blake or
motion by
Chase?
Rhonda and a second by Blake.
Jimmy Atkins,
Aye.
Blake Ayler,
Aye.
Chase Milner.
Aye.
Rhonda Sawyer. Amber Torbett. Michael Thompson.
Aye.
All right, moving to the next item, Kingsport MTPO Title VI Plan. Leslie, this is not a action item.
This
but
is
all
just,
informational.
yeah, this is just informational. The MTPO does have to have a Title VI plan. I don't think ours had been updated since like 2012. So I did a full overhaul of it. Went through 3 rounds of edits with VDOT. Finally got it approved at VDOT, sent it to TDOT. They've signed off on it. I sent it to Federal Highway for their informational purposes. We don't have to adopt it. It's not an action item, but it is an important document for us to have. It's our Title VI, obviously is. Let me pull up my actual wording so I can get it right. Title VI specifically is no person in the United States shall on the ground of race, color, or national origin be excluded from participation in, be denied the benefits of, or be subjected to discrimination under any program or activity receiving federal financial assistance, which we obviously receive federal funds. We have a Title VI plan. CATS has their own Title VI plan. So this is basically just updating the plan given to you all for informational purposes. It was attached to the agenda, and we have a copy here and a copy down there if anybody is interested in looking through it.
Any questions, comments, concerns?
We also do a Title VI report every year too, in supplementing the plan. So I just mentioned that.
Fantastic. Keep up the good work on that. All right, moving along. Public comments. Members of the public may address the executive board with issues related to the region's transportation system. There is a 5-minute time limitation per individual and or per topic. If anyone has any well wishes for Bill, we will have time after the meeting is adjourned to do those officially. Anybody have any public comments? Public is silent. Just here for a party. All right, hearing none. I would entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
Motion by Amber, second by Blake. All those, go ahead, Leslie.
Oh, no, from adjourning, you can do-
Affirmation.
Yep. For adjourning, you can just do affirmation for everybody.
All right. Meeting adjourned.
Okay. Stay here.